This is really the working man song, one called the Working Man Blues. It's a big job getting by with 9 kids and a wife.
Hi, this is Sandy Baird, and this is a day in history. May 1st is a workers' holiday. From Montreal to Beijing, from Paris to Moscow, from London to Havana, people who have to work for a living will demonstrate, parade, and fly the red and black flags of the 19th and 20th century labor movement in honor of labor's long struggle for decent lives for workers. Everywhere, men and women who pay their bills by the dint of the sweat of their toil, in farms and factories, offices, restaurants, bars, daycare centers, schools, and even streets, will show their support of the revolutionary ideas of the early labor movement, which said that bosses and workers are separate and adverse, workers and bosses whose interests often clash, and that workers must struggle relentlessly for livable wages, decent job conditions, health benefits, job security, and especially time off. Everywhere, men and women whose work produces the enormous profits of the capitalist system will celebrate. Everywhere but in the United States, where a silence will reign on May Day, or worse, a spin will take the place of the holiday, which in some places will even be labeled Law Day. The neglect of that holiday here is especially odd, as May Day commemorates events which took place in Chicago in 1886, when the American labor movement was at its most militant. In May of that year, U.S. workers were pressing for an 8-hour workday. Accustomed to working 10 to 14 hours a day, even kids, 6 days per week, workers were demanding shorter hours to have time to have fun, to be with their families, to enjoy nature, to write poetry, to paint, to smell the roses, and to be human. On May 1st, 1886, 340,000 workers were on general strike. In the Windy City in Chicago, 80,000 workers marched. Observers noted the nonviolent, diverse nature of the march. Blacks and whites marched together. Men and women rubbed shoulders. Germans, Italians, Bohemians spoke together in their new English. Republicans and Democrats, socialists, communists, anarchists buried their political differences and united to fight for the 8-hour workday. Largely peaceful, violence broke out, with the result that the police shot some of the strikers. When the question of police brutality brought further demonstrations, a bomb went off and killed some officers. While questions about the perpetrators of that crime still exist, in Chicago the labor leaders, many of whom were anarchists, were blamed, convicted, and hung. Eventually this Haymarket strike and other actions of the organized labor movement, they did win the 8-hour workday. And as now a current bumper sticker proclaims, the workers' movement gave us the weekend. When workers march on May Day throughout the world, this history of the Haymarket strike in Chicago is being remembered. And militant workers of this strike, who knew that, in the words of Karl Marx, the author of the Communist Manifesto, workers had nothing to lose but their chains. Those workers, and all of our workers, are being honored today. But not here in America, the home of the Haymarket heritage. Despite, and perhaps because of the still sorry condition of U.S. workers, the loss of benefits, the growing unemployment in decent jobs, the sending of jobs overseas with globalization, the attacks on unions and job safety, the mandatory and underpaid workfare for welfare mothers, Americans do not know, nor do they honor, their own revolutionary labor history. On May Day then, not so long ago, American workers struck and fought for their rights. In recognition that only a strong, unified, and militant labor movement could wrench from them and from their bosses a fair share of the vast wealth produced by their bodies and toil of those who live and who have to sell themselves to earn a living. On May Day then, here, everybody will remain silent, while workers who take pride in and know their history elsewhere will pay homage to our Haymarket strike. This is Sandy Baird, and this is our day in history.
Long live Kosatu, 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 long live! Long live the African National Congress, long live! Long live the South African Communist Party, long live!
We are here today as immigrant workers. My name is Julio Ramirez and I'm representing janitors up and down the state of California. I work here in LA and we're here ready to march. You know why we're ready to march? Because we know that we have the power in our hands.
Hemos luchado por años y hemos logrado el poder de los janitos. Hoy estamos a punto de ir a una huelga el día lunes. Y si se puede, ¡se puede!
김일성 광장에서 진행됐습니다. 이 공장에서 생산한 노동자들은 국민 대중의 자유이용을 실현하기 위한
He won't be, he'll be working. Long as his two hands are fit to use. He might drink a little beer that evening and sing a little bit of his working man blues. Thank you very much.